Friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. We're probably going to see a couple of isolated showers across the Tennessee Valley. The best chance for that's going to end up coming Tuesday night, early into Wednesday morning, and then we get other opportunities for rain through Wednesday afternoon. We are going to be a little cooler on Wednesday under a cloudy sky. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Touchdown, Alabama! Hi, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Join us every week for Alabama football right here.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. So glad that you are with us today. And, you know, today's Top 10 has just two things on it. I've told you this before, right? I've told you this a number of times. The Top 10 does not have to happen on a Tuesday, and it doesn't have to have 10 things on it. It can have just, two things on it, which is what it has on it today. And it's a short baseball list, and it's involving the Atlanta Braves. So we will get there. We will get there. At some point in time, we will get there. But right now, off the top, what a horrific loss for the Buffalo Bills last night at home to a 3-5 Broncos team. I mean, this is a bad, bad loss. And this is what the Bills do. They have these horrific, soul-sucking losses. If you missed it, the Broncos had the ball at midfield, closing seconds of the game. And the Bills go cover 0, an all-out blitz, which is already maybe a little bit of an issue. Russell Wilson just heaves it up to the one guy that's in the route, Jerry Jeudy, and it's badly underthrown. But the DB, who was beat on the play, never looks back for the ball. Once Jerry Jeudy starts looking, never looks back for the ball. If he looks back for the ball, he could basically fair catch it. He never looks back for the ball, and he runs right through Jerry Jeudy. And now the Bills have the ball at the 17-yard line. Now, look, the Bills then line up to kick a field goal after the 28-yard pass interference. No worries. The Broncos run out on the field after calling 2 timeouts, and they miss a 41-yard field goal. Bills win! Bills win! Wow, man, they hung on, and they got lucky. They won like how the Browns beat the 49ers. Missed chip shot field goal. Except that they had 12 men on the field. After the 5-yard penalty, the Broncos make the field goal from 36 to win. Now, look, there are a ton of excuses that are being made about getting the right personnel on the field. Oh, they had the nickel in there, and then they had to go to fullback or the field goal block. We had our nickel defense in there. We had to switch. This is the NFL. Okay? Furthermore, the Bills called 2 timeouts. Remember, the Bills called timeout, took a knee, timeout, took a knee. Bills are calling timeouts while the Broncos are taking a knee. They're trying to, and they can't get the right personnel on the field. Can't get the right personnel out on the field. Plenty of time to get your kick block unit ready. This is the kind of thing that should get a special teams coordinator fired. And I'm not that guy that calls for coaches to get fired. I really am not. That guy follows me every day here on his own. I'm not the guy where coaches go to get fired. This is the kind of thing that should get Matthew Smiley, who's not smiling today, the special teams coordinator for the Bills, fired. I'll be honest with you. This was the Bills' biggest special teams screw-up since January 8, 2000. You know what I'm talking about, the Music City Miracle. And that one cost one of the best specs coaches ever, Bruce DeHaven, his job. Now, in fairness to DeHaven wanted the Bills to run another play so that the Bills could kick the field goal with no time left on the clock. But he was overruled by Wade Phillips. DeHaven's like, hey, let's run one more play so we don't even have to kick off. We'll run a play so we can run it down at, next to nothing. And Wade Phillips overruled him. So there was only 16 seconds left when they did kick the field goal. Steve Christie making that 41-yarder. What is it about 41-yard field goals? Steve Christie makes that 41-yarder. And it put the Bills up 16-15, and then the miracle happened. The Bills' cover team fails to stay in their lanes, running all over the place while the home run throwback happened. And, by the way, that was a lateral. It's a legal play. That was a lateral. And Bruce DeHaven got fired. He came back years later, like 10 or 12 years later. He came back to Buffalo as the special teams coordinator. He's one of the best special teams coordinators. I've spent some time with Bruce DeHaven on the chalkboard, Xing and Oing, and he is one of the best. I really like him. But he got fired over that. Bills are a mess right now. They're only one game out of the playoffs, and they are a mess right now. You know what? They're probably still going to make the playoffs. They're one game out of the playoffs. When they stop, stepping on themselves, they'll be okay. All right, enough of that. Coming up in a few minutes, we are going to head out to College Station with Mark Passwaters of AggieYell.com, the rival site for Texas A&M. Then at the top of the one, Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer is back. Talk about the surging Tigers. That's right, I said it. They're surging. Who will, in fact, go into the Iron Bowl on a 4-game winning streak. And they are bowl eligible as we speak. They will be no worse than 7-5 this season. And I'll tell you what, for those of you that are sitting on Iron Bowl or Music City Bowl tickets, could be. I mean, the Music City Bowl is higher in the pecking order right now, but they also want to have teams that are a good draw. it could be Auburn. They've been there before in the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. They're going to be no worse than 7-5. They could be 8-4 if they win the Iron Bowl. This is their best season now since 9-3, the regular season of 2019. Grizz is very excited. All right, your phone lines are open at 256-576-4977. Text the show at 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469, which is a great way to communicate with us. My X feed, formerly Twitter, is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. Facebook is at 97.7 ESPN. You get a link there to our YouTube channel, WZZN TV, where you can be watching right there on the screen. 97.7ESPN.com is a link to all of that stuff. While you're at it, get the app. You need the app. Search 97.7 ESPN, the Zone, on your app store. And then when you have our app, you'll get links to Zone 2, 3, 4, and 5, all our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Check out our calendar of events at 97.7ESPN.com as well. You're going to want to have the app. I mean, this Friday night alone, we got Alabama basketball. We got UAH basketball. We got Madison Academy in the playoffs in football. So we got a lot. All right, over there in the little glass booth with the slanted ceiling, playing the platters that matter and the stacks of wax and manning the phones and keeping us on the air. And can't believe that his Falcons are only one game worse than the Buffalo Bills, for God's sakes. It's DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a one-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today. What's that? Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Grizzlies, why would Aaron Rodgers have a patch over his left eye as he's doing the McAfee show?
I have no idea. That guy ceases to amaze me every single day.
And then A.J. Hawk has sunglasses on, and then
he always does.
Now Pat McAfee has some kind of a patch over one eye of his glasses. I don't know what.
I have no idea what that's reference for.
I don't have the sound up, so I don't know what that. I don't know what. Look
on
a TV
day?
in your studio. Oh, that's right.
I don't have a TV. There's like a reflection, but I can actually pull up like a YouTube TV on my computer.
No, then
though.
You'll chew up some of our.
I can pull it up on the other computer then.
Yeah.
Or on my phone too. I can always do that too.
No.
But then I'd be looking at my phone the whole time.
Probably should have a TV over there. You know what I mean? Probably should have a TV somewhere right above the.
Yeah, if we had a like an angle.
I mean, what if there was like breaking news or something? You know what I mean?
That's true. That is true.
I always have said that the control room should always have a TV. The producer should be, because as hosts, we're over here and we're kind of like doing a show and you got it over there, but you're not looking as much. But the producer then could say, hey, by the way, there's something going on.
Yeah. Well, by the way, you're sitting here talking about the Falcons, and yeah, they're one game behind the Buffalo Bills, and I feel like it's where both of these teams could be really good. Obviously, the Bills are really good offensively. It's something going on,
What's wrong with the Bills and the Bengals? They were supposed to be the teams to challenge.
Well, the Bills have
the AFC Championship.
The Bills have a ton of injuries on defense. I think that's what's hurting them a lot. You can't make excuses, next guy up kind of mentality in the NFL, all that stuff. The Falcons are doing the same thing. They're technically third in the division. They're behind the Bucs and the Saints.
Back.
Yeah, they're one game back. And what it comes down to is both teams, the Saints and the Falcons, are coming off the bye week. You got the Bucs playing the 49ers. They also have to play the Colts the following week when the Saints and the Falcons come back. So that game could decide, obviously, again, who's in first again in that division.
First 1 to 9 wins the division.
Yeah. First 1 to 9 wins the division.
First 1 to 9 wins the division.
And nobody has a good quarterback in that division. It's not nearly as competitive, obviously, as the NFC North, as all those teams in there that deserve a spot in the playoffs, in my opinion.
I know you want to get I know that you want to get. No, the AFC North.
That's what I said. Did I say AFC?
I thought you said AFC.
I said AFC. AFC North. The AFC North.
I know that you want to get Arthur Smith fired, but let me just say this about that.
Not necessarily.
Let me say this.
18-26 in 3 years.
if the Falcons had Josh Allen as their quarterback, there's like 7-2, 8-2, 7-3.
I mean,
if the Falcons had Josh Allen as their think about it, they're one game behind the Bills, and they've got Howdy Doody at quarterback, being backed up by Bozo the Clown. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
If they had Josh Allen at quarterback, and if that dude Arthur Smith had Josh Allen at quarterback with those weapons, they're like a 7 or 8 win team right
Well,
now.
realistically, you should be 6-4 right now. You never should have lost to the Vikings, and you never should have lost to the Cardinals. And
with what they got, though. I
with
mean,
what
think
you
about
had.
that with what they got.
Yeah, and well, it's like your boy David Moulton said, and he's been right on a lot of things. Where I mean, if they had Kirk Cousins, obviously he had the injury. They make the playoffs, and they probably maybe win the first round. They probably lose the Falcons.
If the Falcons,
yeah,
had Kirk
if they had Kirk
Cousins,
yeah.
Well,
So I mean,
apparently, if
give me Mac Jones right now, and I guarantee he's got a better situation than he does over at the Patriots, and they can make the playoffs with him.
If they had Josh Dobbs, they would.
Josh Dobbs could make the playoffs with him.
I'm looking at Paulie and the Cape's ticket here. Remember when Paulie and the Cape were like, "I'm going to make $1,000." He's not making $1,000 for the Dolphins to win the division. He's plus 300 on the money line. So he's going to make $300 on his $100 bill. And his over-under 9.5 wins for the Dolphins was minus 115. So if the Dolphins go over, he makes $86 on that ticket. Paulie is up first today. Paulie, what are you talking about? Why did you tell us you're going to win $1,000 with the Dolphins with your minus money on the 9.5 and your plus 300 on the win of division?
I forgot that. I thought I put another ticket in, so I only had those 2 tickets.
Oh, okay.
There. I forgot. I didn't make the bet that they would make the playoffs.
But they're not like a long shot. They're not like a big long shot.
No.
Well, if they win the division, obviously they make the playoffs. But they were only plus 300 to win the division. That's not like a real long shot.
There was another bet that we were going to win the playoffs or make it to the AFC Championship game.
Oh, well, that would be a longer shot. Yeah, there would be longer odds.
That was the one. I was going to take that and say, well, I can make it up and make a $200 bet and pretty much make the same money instead of the future.
Why were you asking if we were working today? We don't have somebody in the studio answering calls 20 minutes before the show starts. Okay, Paulie, we were having
thank you for answering my.
We were having a meeting. We were in the performance studio having a high-level meeting, planning out this radio show.
Well, hey, don't make me do the usual, and I'll be the last caller on your show too. Don't make me call you back. Don't make me do it.
Oh, wait a minute. Stop for a second. Here we go, Grizz. From our excellent listeners, okay, from the 256, A.J. Hawk's son poked him in the eye and messed up his cornea. So that's why A.J. Hawk has the sunglasses
trying
on,
to make him...
and that's why Aaron Rodgers was wearing the patch. And, of course, A.J. Hawk's the reason Aaron Rodgers is on that show. They were boys together. They played together at the Packers.
It was weekly.
And they
like
also
Artie Smith and
they
Nick
also
Saban.
pay him $1 million.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's
what are they paying Nick Saban? Or is that pro bono?
No, I bet they're paying Saban. I bet Saban gets $500,000 at least to be on that show. I would say. All right, Paulie, go ahead.
Real quick, it's a shame that the offensive coordinator gets fired for a bonehead play that the head coach should be honoring and go, that was my fault. Number 2, I think I'm going to have a beautiful Christmas present right before Christmas when the Dolphins win the division.
That'll be good.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Look at the next 5 games the Bills have. Look at the next 5 games that the Dolphins have.
By the way, what he's talking about is Ken Dorsey was fired by the Bills this morning as the offensive coordinator. 2 years ago, they were talking about Ken Dorsey as like a head coaching candidate. Now he's a bum, and Joe Brady has replaced him. And those of you who know Joe Brady, you know Joe Brady from the outstanding 2019 LSU team. He was the offensive coordinator for LSU when they won a Natty.
And the team is going to implode now because I bet you Diggs is going to be like, I want to get out of here. I want to go to a team that knows what they're doing. And then probably some team will sell their soul for Josh Allen, and they'll start rebuilding because you can see the wheels are coming off the wagon. And no one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, they're going to have to circle something. already. Thanks for the call, Paulie. That's a good job by you. They're already Bills fans are already calling for Jim Harbaugh. They're like,
wow.
Jim Harbaugh will fit perfect. Need some Jim Harbaugh. That's what we need. Let's go back to the lines. Who's up next? Jeff in the borough? Jeff, welcome to the show. How are you?
How you doing?
Fantastic.
I just want to tell you, I know you remember this. Middle Tennessee and Missouri played second week of the year. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Missouri beat all the teams in Tennessee, by the way. Missouri says they're the Tennessee State champions. They're Tennessee State champs.
Let me tell you what the score of that game. You know what the score of the game was?
It was close. It was like 31-24 or something.
No, it was 23-19.
23 now. Okay, it was close.
Okay,
I said it was close.
The guy just ran all over Tennessee this weekend.
Yeah.
That Schrader Joker against Middle Tennessee's defense, 23 carries, 84 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tennessee ain't got no defense. We already know that. They ain't got no defense.
Yeah.
Okay? They don't have one they never had. Okay? Like a guy said on the show here this morning, he's been a fan since 1969, and they can't find a defensive coordinator. I can't help. That's his problem. I can't help. He's been a fan for 50-something. That's his problem in life, being a Knoxville person. But no, we played them closer to anybody. We lost to them, but played them closer to anybody. And let me tell you something.
Wait a minute. You said we. I thought we as.
Tennessee, my alma mater.
Wait. I thought we was Kentucky. Were you, Jeff?
My alma mater is Middle Tennessee.
Oh, good for you.
School there.
My son went to Middle. I did Middle Tennessee pre, post, and halftime for 5 years.
My alma mater. I mean, my alma mater.
All right, that's all right.
Okay,
yeah.
But what I'm saying is if they had beat this thing, and they didn't do it, but if they had beat them that night, what kind of season you think Missouri would have had?
Oh, they would have gone right in the tank.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I'm saying, but I'm just saying. Yeah. And also tonight, Tom, I know you're not going to watch the Champions Classic on Duke and Michigan State's game 1, and the two Blue Bloods are playing Kentucky and Kansas afterwards.
Oh, so I love when they play that Champions Classic. Is that tonight? I thought it was tomorrow.
It's tonight.
Oh, I'll be all over that. I'll be all over that.
Kentucky plays second. Duke and Michigan State play first.
Yeah, Duke and Michigan State. What are they? 1 and
1.
What?
Both
yeah,
of them's 1-1.
Right.
Yeah. And Kansas is number 1. Kansas is top right in the country. Kentucky 17th, and Arizona just killed Duke and Cameron indoors. So I guess
Well, they were. Yeah, Duke was highly rated. They were top 5 before they got whacked.
Yeah,
is Michigan still number 3 or something like that? Michigan State, Sparty number 3.
James Madison beat them in overtime.
Oh my God!
Did you know that?
I didn't even know. I missed that over the weekend.
Listen. James Madison beat them in overtime.
Oh God!
At Michigan State. The next game, they go to Kent State in Ohio, play double overtime. They beat Kent State 113-108 in double overtime.
Oh my gosh!
They're 2-0, and right now they play more. But the first 2 games they beat Michigan State in overtime, and East Lansing beat Kent State in double overtime at Kent State.
Man.
And they want the rules changed in football. Think they should change the rules, Tom?
What rule change?
They want the rules changed for football so they can go to a bowl game.
Well, I mean, there's not going to be enough there's a thought right now. There's not enough 6-win teams, so it looks like there's going to be some 5-win teams that get to the bowl games. It goes based on your academics at that point in time.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying they're 9-0 and they can't go because they're moving up.
Oh, you're talking about James Madison. I thought you were talking
about
yeah. No, and that's crap. You know what I mean? That is crap.
Really?
Why?
No,
why shouldn't they?
Don't go D1. That's the rule. It's like basketball. When you go to basketball, you got a 4-year window. Don't go D1. You don't need to go D1. Nobody forced you to go D1. Nobody put a gun to your head.
Yeah, but it's not like basketball. It's not like basketball. Football, for them to go, what I'm saying is that they've been D1 for 2 years now. They should have been bowl eligible last year. They're playing a D1 schedule this year. They should be bowl eligible. They've beaten everybody.
Well, what about Jack State? Should they be bowl eligible?
Yes,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
They're not.
I know they're not, but that's a stupid rule. If you're beating D1, it's not like they're still playing a 1AA schedule. They're playing it. They're playing a
they're in Conference USA, and they're in Conference USA, and Liberty and New Mexico State's playing the conference championship game.
So Duke only dropped the 9th.
Ninth.
I'll watch it tonight.
But the Champions Class, and then between games, Tom, is your great college football playoff. Paul, I know you'll be listening to that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, no, I don't get. I think there should be 2. I think they should do 1. I think there should be 3 of those poll shows. They should do 1 about 4 weeks out when they did the first one, just to tell everybody what they're thinking. Then they should do 1 after the regular season and before the championship games, and then they should do one after the championship games to tell us what it is. We don't need to have it now. Who cares now until Ohio State plays Michigan and until everything is played out? Who cares right now?
But nobody wants Michigan. They think Michigan cheated. They didn't do nothing wrong. But stealing signs ain't wrong. Houston Astros did it. They didn't take away their World Series.
Well, that was
take away their World Series.
They got a bunch of people fired.
They've been stealing signs forever.
Yeah,
in baseball and football, they've been stealing signs forever.
Stealing signs in a game. Yeah, but stealing signs in a game is different than stealing signs, sending somebody out to record ahead of time. And there's a rule. It's against the rules. You can't do that. You can't send people out ahead of time to record like that. And the Astros, remember, a bunch of guys got fired. They had 2 managers got fired. You know what I mean? Because there was a bunch of guys got canned and so on. And they did not take away, but I think in the end they said, "How do you actually take it? Do you vacate a World Series?
You can't vacate.
Can't vacate a World Series. Yeah,
you can't vacate. No, they've been stealing signs. A friend of mine told me in high school that they beat on a trash can to see what pitches they're gonna have. Yeah. They've been stealing signs forever. Baseball been trying to hit and run, steal, and everything else. Hang in there, Tom.
I appreciate you. That's where the saying, if you ain't. Actually, it was NASCAR where they first said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. It was a NASCAR thing, really, I think the first one. All right, let me get Philip in here. We'll go ahead and clean the lines up. Can we clean the lines up? We'll see if we can't clean the lines up here before we get to – we got to go quick, though, with Phil because we got to get to Mark Passwaters. Philip, welcome to the show. How are you?
Pissed off. I cannot not see that stupid call from the Packers-Steelers game. I can't not see it. Tom.
That was yesterday's call.
People like you in your position are doing nothing about it. Y'all should be holding Goodell's balls to the fire on this. This is so pathetic, dude.
All we can do is call for full-time officials. That's all we can do.
No, bull crap.
What are we going to do? What do you want me to do? We're not going to cover it anymore? I say, listen, we're not going to talk about the NFL and college football until they get full-time officials. Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
I know that if you were stranded on a desert island, you would have college football over the NFL. I get that. But, dude, the NFL is still important.
Very important.
But crap like that has got to stop. Heads have got to roll. Who's been fired over that? Tell me. Who's been fired over that?
They ain't going to fire anybody over
that. Have you asked a question?
They're not going to fire anybody over that.
Have you asked a question?
Well, we know who's been
Have
fired.
you
Nobody.
Asked a question.
Who are you going to ask? Who are you going to ask? They're going to say it's a judgment call. They're going to say it was a judgment call and that they thought it, or they apologized like they did on one of the games earlier this year when they apologized and they said, "Hey, we blew that call." Oh well. I mean, what happens? There is supposedly some sort of discipline with officiating. There is something where they get benched and whatnot. They've got multiple guys. I know 2 guys that were friends of mine that were NFL officials that got fired, that got let go. So they do let go every year. There's 4 or 5 officials that get let go. But they can't change the outcome of the game. They're not going to go back and say, "Oh, by the way, that was a lateral." They're not going to do it. I don't know what they can do.
Tom, the right thing, like Troy Aikman, do the right thing. How about that?
Well, what about
do the right thing?
What about in baseball? We sit there. They've got Angel Hernandez misses 15% of the balls and strikes. How come he's not been fired? And he's full time.
That call was as bad as and forgive me if I can't or not remember his name because I can't right now, the dude that threw the perfect game, flipped the ball to the first baseman for the third out in the 9th inning, and the umpire screwed it up. It was that bad, Tom. Millions of people saw it.
Yeah.
You got it, dude. It's not a split-time decision. The dude's sitting there watching it and says, "No, I'm a Steelers fan. Nah, I'm going to say that's a forward pass." That is unacceptable.
Maybe if they had the chip in the ball.
Do that.
Maybe if they had the chip in the ball, you'd know where the ball started and where the ball ended. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the answer. Maybe they have to have the chip in the ball so they can tell whether or not the ball went forward or not. I did see a computer-generated thing from the aerial shot of it that shows it being a lateral, that shows it being dead lateral. But
it was a total lateral.
Yeah.
And dude, I don't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
I hate both teams. I hate both teams.
Yeah.
I hate the Packers. I hate the Steelers. I don't have a dog in the fight. But that's not fair.
Yeah.
It's bullcrap.
Yeah. No, I wanted the Packers in a big way. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I feel you.
Do you know that Troy Aikman is the Forrest Gump of the NFL?
No.
Have you watched any of that video?
I saw what you said in there, and I was like, that ain't even true. That he had a club foot or something like that. I'm like, oh, come on, you're making this up now. He didn't have a club foot. Next thing we're gonna know, he's He was born with club feet. As a little baby, he had to wear braces like Forrest Gump. Grizz, Brandon says that Angel Hernandez got fired during the season this year. Is that true? Did Angel Hernandez get fired during the season? He says Angel Hernandez got fired during the season. I'm not buying club feet for Troy Aikman, braces and everything. And I'm not asking David Moulton.
With club feet.
Okay, we're going to text him and say.
Born with club feet.
We're going to say, hey, Philip wants to know if you were born with club feet.
It happened in early October. I just must have missed it.
Oh, he got fired after the season. Angel Hernandez got fired. That's good.
Yay.
That's good. They finally.
Maybe the NFL should take some notes on that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's research it. We'll research it and see if there was any disciplinary action taken against the crew and the Packers.
I don't know how much paying these guys, making them full time, all this other stuff is going to stop from a human making a human error.
Oh, it'll stop a lot because I'll tell you why. They'll be better. Because they'll be working on their job every day. They'll be at practice. Yeah. You know what I mean? You get quicker and your eyes will get quicker. And you got to be in better shape. They got to age them out.
Yeah.
You can't be a referee if
do
you're
all
60
that.
years
Yeah,
old
do like
and
a
you're 80 pounds overweight and everything else.
Yeah.
These should be athletic guys. Listen, I know. Thanks for the call, Philip. That's a good job by you. I know for a fact, I'm going to tell you right now, I know for a fact that my eyesight at 62 is worse than what it was even 10, 12 years ago, Grizz. My nighttime vision.
I'm 33 and I'm having problems right now, all right?
My night vision is so much worse. And the ability to make quick snap decisions.
Yeah.
So you should age out at it's not age discrimination. Certain jobs are you should age out at I don't know, 45, maybe 50 if you're in great shape. Do they test their vision? Do they test their quick twitch? And things like that.
Do they get a pension or anything? Do they get any retirement from the NFL like the players do?
They have a union.
Yeah. Okay.
Union.
But then So then when by the time you retire, when you're 55 and or 60.
Let's just see if there has been any. Let's ask the machine. We got to go to the break. We'll ask the machine. Has there been any disciplinary action taken against the crew from the Packers-Steelers game? All right, we got a break in here. When we come back, Mark Passwater will join us next of AggieL.com on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford's Thanksgiving sales event. This is the time of year to give thanks for all the good things in our lives. And at Woody Anderson Ford, we give thanks that you're driving a Ford. Right now, we've got financing as low as 2.9% for up to 60 months on 2023 Explorer and Bronco Sport, plus $1,500 in bonus cash. Even our 2023 F-150 Crew Cab has $1,500 bonus cash and financing as low as 3.9%. And our lease rates are great too. 2023 Bronco Sport, $389 a month. 23 Explorer, $537 a month. And our 23 F-150 Crew Cab, just $449 a month, plus $3,000 in total trade assistance and red carpet lease cash. These are 36-month leases with $36.95 on Bronco Sport, $49.21 on Explorer, and $51.51 on F-150 due at signing. Zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. These offers end November 30th. Call 539-9441 for complete details. It's Woody Anderson Ford's Thanksgiving sales event, and we hope to see you soon.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Listen each Friday to the Woody Anderson Ford High School Football Scoreboard Show, powered by the Huntsville Sports Commission on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Segment of Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you're in Alabama, Tennessee, or Florida, North Alabama Mortgage has you covered for all your mortgage needs. Keep in mind that average home equity is at an all-time high, but so is that average consumer debt. And even though the rates are a little high now, you can use your equity to pay off high consumer debt, like those credit cards or student loans and so on. Then you refi when the rates drop. That's right. Learn all about it at NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. Brian Hamaker and his team standing by to do a tremendous job for you. They did it for me. They can do it for you. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. Mark Passwaters does a great job at AggieYell.com. They are the rival site for Texas A&M. He joins us now on a Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline to talk about, well, obviously what he's going to talk about. Mark, welcome to the show. How are you?
Busy.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you taking a few minutes for us because I figured it. I honestly expected to get a no freaking way, we're too busy over here to talk to anybody type of response, but you jumped on with me, and I appreciate you doing that. Reading the tea leaves, people have been talking about this for 2 years, but this huge buyout and everything else. Did you see it coming, and did you see it coming after a 51-10 win?
No. No on both counts. The interesting thing is that I talked to Ross Bjork, the athletic director, after the Monday press conference now, I guess, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I said, what are you going to do? And he kind of gave me the indication. He used a lot of the same terms that he did in his Sunday night press conference, that the program was stuck in neutral. Recruiting is great, but the results are not there. But he kind of gave me the indication that he was coaching for his job the next 3 games.
Yeah.
And other folks were even more sold than that. They thought he was going to get in another season. But what I didn't realize is that after I talked to Bjork, he was going over to talk to President Mark Walsh and recommended they fire him. So, that changed things real fast. I mean, it went from, here's where things are now, and things changed within the span of a half an hour. So,
should the result of that game given anybody a little bit of pause? And only I'll say this. He said that the program's in neutral. I feel like we're stuck in neutral. Well, I don't know. You were like, 1-7, 2-6, something like that last year in the SEC. What if they were to go on and beat LSU and end up 8-4 and 5-3 in the in the SEC? That doesn't sound like a program stuck in neutral. That sounds like a program that had a horrible year and is starting to move back in the right direction a little bit. I mean, I don't know if I buy the whole neutral thing.
Well, I think here's the thing. You mentioned 5-3. For a guy who's making $9.5 million, 5-3 really what you want out of an SEC West team, especially with the talent that they have? And here's the other thing that the sticker. Advocates for Jimbo can say you lost those 3 games by no more than 7 points, and that is correct. But here's the deal: you were ahead of Alabama at halftime at home. You were ahead of Tennessee at halftime.
Yeah.
You fed Ole Miss their teeth for 35 minutes, and you still found a way to lose all 3. And with the talent that they have and the experience on that coaching staff, I think that, people that were advocating a move could make a justifiable argument that that is still underachieving. And and let's face it, losing to Lane Kiffin is a cardinal sin. People hate his bleeping guts in College Station. And I think the way that went down is losing at the end. And, that was kind of a showcase of Jimbo's stubbornness, for lack of a better term. You lose that game on a block kick. That is their 5th block kick of the year. And what was the first play of the Mississippi State game? A kickoff return for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That's their 3rd kickoff return or punt return for a touchdown. The kickoff return for a touchdown against Miami changed that game. The punt return against Tennessee lost that game. And Jimbo adamantly refuses to hire a special teams coach.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need to fire the special teams coordinator. Oh, that's right. They don't have one, which is mind-boggling to me. Yeah, it's absolutely mind-boggling to me. I was actually a special teams coordinator at a small college for several years, and so that's a passion of mine. And I sit there and I look at it, and I'm like, all this money you're spending, you don't have one guy that's responsible for all of the special teams, and you incorporate, a different assistant coach to kind of help you with each unit, but there's one guy that is responsible for the special teams, and they don't have it. Mark Passwater's with us here talking about the Jimbo Fisher firing, and apparently money is no object, right? I mean, we know that Texas A&M has a lot of money. There's no doubt about it that the purses are very deep there. But even for them, I mean, $79 million. If you're Jimbo, by the way, you get a check for $20 million now. You get $7.2 million a year till you're 66, 67 years old. I mean, how do you ever work again? Why do you ever work again? I mean, this is like winning the lottery and not having to deal with the aggravation.
I would personally not, but I would actually honestly think that if he can kind of control his pace of speaking, he would be a fantastic TV analyst. The man is really, really smart.
He's got to slow down a little bit, though, doesn't he? He's got to slow it down. We can't understand him. He talks so fast. Just slow it down just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 120 words a minute isn't going to work. But, but honestly, if you ever talk to the man one-on-one, he knows a lot about a lot. He's one of the smartest people I've ever met. Mm-hmm. And I think that he would be great as an analyst if he could, kind of slow down the cadence. But outside of that, I mean, he doesn't have to coach unless he wants to.
No.
And I don't know if he does.
No, he doesn't have to do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what he does. But to be perfectly honest, that's not my concern right now. I'm more interested in what A&M does.
Yeah. How much pressure do you think Texas coming into the league and Texas being a factor right now as a potential playoff team, how much did that impact it? Because, we talk a lot over here. We talk a lot about Texas A&M, Texas relationship like we do Alabama and Auburn. Let's just be honest. And so with Texas coming in, do you think that was factoring in a big way? Is there a little bit of a panic about that?
Oh, I mean, yeah, sure, absolutely. Mm-hmm. They didn't want Texas in the SEC anyway.
Right.
And now that they're having a good year this year, they're going to have a lot of changes, 2023 to 2024. But still, they're coming in. They've got some momentum. You have to respond to that for sure. And, I don't think that was the primary reason or even maybe in the top 5 reasons that they fired him. But certainly the fact that Steve Sarkisian is having success at Texas and A&M is still sitting here with 4 losses did not help Jimbo's cause.
Mark Passwater's with us, AggieL.com. How good a job is it? We've already heard from Dan Lanning making some comment about why would I leave Oregon. Coaches always say that, but on the big picture, the big scale of things, being with the 16-team SEC, being with the Texas situation, so on, how good a job is this in your opinion? Is this a top 5 job, a top 10 job? How good a job is this as it sits right now? Because as you said, there's definitely some talent there.
And Alabama's job is not coming open. So I would put A&M right up there at that level. In terms of facilities, fan base, in terms of money that you can count on, in terms of depth of prospects in the state, there are very few jobs that would be better than A&M. The Aggies, the 12th man, are as loyal a fan base as there is out there. I mean, they started their 3rd-string quarterback the other night, coming off your 4th loss to a team you hate, and they had 103,000 people in the stands.
Yeah.
And the weather kind of sucked, too. So, people are loyal at A&M almost to a fault. And they'll show up for their guys, and they're going to be loud, and they're going to spend money. And if you take a look at what they're doing right now with the facilities that they already have, and they're adding to them, I think that there are very, very few programs that have the assets in place, that are superior to A&M. Now, on the other hand, there are also very few programs who have underachieved to the level that A&M has.
Right. So you did a very interesting article at AggieL.com, dropping some names on the table that a lot of people have been talking about. Dan Lanning, Mike Elko, who's only 46 years old. He looks a little older than that, you know what I'm saying? But he's only 46 years old. Of course, Elijah Robinson is in there as the interim, and some other names on there. I want to get into some of those, but have you heard any of these rumors or anything floating around Texas about Dabo Sweeney's people inquiring about the job?
Yes, I have.
Is that real?
I'm not sure how serious I take that. Mm-hmm. And I just really seriously have a hard time thinking that A&M would want to go down that road, for multiple reasons. First is there are too many similarities to Jimbo. The offensive coordinator that Clemson hired this year was actually A&M's first choice. And he took the Clemson job because he thought that Jimbo would meddle too much. He gets over to Clemson, and Dabo meddled way too much. So there's that. A&M wasn't happy with how Jimbo handled the portal. He seemed to kind of poo-poo it. Didn't think that it was that big a deal. Sounds an awful lot like what Dabo does.
All right.
A&M is very big in NIL, and Dabo does not talk highly of NIL. So, and then, the price tag. It would be similar to what you just paid for Jimbo. So I think that there are just too many similarities there to what you just got rid of in Dabo that they would probably be very hesitant to go down that road.
So Bobby Petrino sits there, right? Hangs around. And obviously as the offensive coordinator, do you expect that things might change in what we see out of Texas A&M in these last couple of regular season games in a bowl game under an offense run by Bobby Petrino where he's basically a lame duck?
Yeah, I do. First of all, we don't know that he's going to be a lame duck. Odds are, overwhelming that he is. But, you never know. If Elijah Robinson gets the job, he could keep Petrino. But one of the problems that A&M had this year, and this is one of the reasons that Jimbo is unemployed, is the fact that they brought in Bobby Petrino, and you could see a significant change in the offense. But still, it was making modifications within Jimbo's scheme. He would not let that go. And, in one of the articles I wrote last night, I said that, Nick Saban wants to win. Dabo and Jimbo also really want to win. They want to win their way. Mm-hmm. They're not going to adapt. They want things to adapt to them.
Right.
And I think that was an issue. That is an issue. And I think that the first thing that Elijah Robinson said is he's just going to let Petrino do what he does. So I think that in spite of the fact that they'll probably be running their third stringer out there again this weekend, it'll probably be a little bit more wide open.
But isn't that the reason they went to Elijah Robinson as the interim? Because of the fact that usually you don't use a coordinator because they got their hands full doing what they got to do, as a coordinator. To all of a sudden, because the obvious thing would say, well, wait a minute, Bobby Petrino's been a successful head coach in the SEC. Why wouldn't they make him the interim head? Well, he's got his hands full. He's running the offense. We'll give it to the 38-year-old defensive line coach. Is Elijah Robinson really a candidate for this thing in your mind?
Yeah, I don't think he's a primary candidate, but you got to look at what he's done. And the fact of the matter is he is an outstanding defensive line coach, for one. 2, he's got great people skills. 3, he may be the single best recruiter in all of college football. I don't think that is an overstatement. You take a look at the guys that he's got, and just take a look at the guys that are in this 2024 class committed right now. They're all like, I'm sticking because of E-Rob. So, you take a look at the things that he brings to the table. The fact that that it's still a very big program and he doesn't have head coaching experience, those are big strikes against him. But the players love him, recruits love him. He's just got incredible interpersonal skills, and he's a darn smart guy.
Yeah.
So it would not be out of the realm of possibility that he gets a look.
All right, finally, does it have to be a name guy to make this fan base happy? I'm a big Glenn Schumann fan. I think Schumann is a rising star. He's only 33 years old, but man, if you want to talk about a guy that could be a rising star that can do a really nice job for you, I like Glenn Schumann. But I don't know that his name would resonate enough with the fan base and the boosters and so on. So give me your thought on in the end. Is it a name guy, or do they take a shot on a guy that is not a name guy? Because the last 2 guys were name guys, and they didn't do too well.
Well, I think I think their primary goal is to get a name guy, a younger name guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Schumann, people who know football, who know college football, like Schumann.
Yeah.
They really think that's a viable player for something like this. I don't think that would be their first choice or their second choice, but he's an intriguing possibility. Let me put it that way. He doesn't check all the boxes that they're looking for, but he's a young guy. He's aggressive. He's done a good job at Georgia. If you're going to sit there and take a stab, if you're going to make the gamble and go with an assistant with no head coaching experience, Schumann and Elijah Robinson would be the first 2 guys.
And of course, Stephen A. is all over Deion Sanders. I mean, that's the only hire that makes sense. Deion Sanders, Texas, the whole 9 yards. I mean, that he would have the resources he doesn't have at Colorado. Does anybody even think of that as a possibility?
When it comes to college football, Stephen A. Smith is 110 decibels of stupid. There could be no more toxic pairing than Texas A&M and Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I would agree.
They're just polar opposites of one another.
Yeah.
That is not to say that he's not going to be a good coach. Not going to say he's not going to build up Colorado. He's just not a good fit at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And you can say that about a lot of different programs. I don't think he'd be a great fit at Alabama.
No. I don't think so.
I don't think he'd be a good fit at Auburn. But there are places where he'd be a good fit. Just A&M isn't one of them.
Great stuff. Mark Passwaters has been our guest. Check him out at aggieyell.com. A lot of great stuff right there as well, and I'm sure he'll be all over this story as it continues to develop and the Aggies look for a head football coach. Mark, I appreciate you, man. Great stuff.
No problem. Hopefully I can get some sleep in the next couple weeks.
I hope you do too. All right, man.
Thanks.
Mark Passwaters. Good stuff. All right, we'll get a break. We'll come back, set you up for hour number 2 next on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Built to win.
Touchdown,
for championships.
Throws intercepted Alabama.
Built by Bama.
Alabama is still Alabama.
The Crimson Tide play here. Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide take on the Chattanooga Mocs. Our coverage begins at 8 a.m. on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. And when it's time to get your boat ready for cold weather, Freedom Marine is your best choice to winterize your boat so it's ready to go next spring. If you've been thinking about a new boat, Freedom Marine has a great selection on sale now with some of the biggest discounts they've had in a decade. For new and used boats, outboard sales, financing, service and parts, it's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com. Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
You've got it locked on your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Nick Saban Show. This is Eli Gold, and this is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Chris, it occurs to me, I know we only got about a minute here before the break. It occurs to me that we never gave the results yesterday of Beat the Big Dog in the Friday
No, we did not.
Trifecta. So
No.
let me get that out there now. In Beat the Big Dog, Shane Sean got my tickets to the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl. He did. And who knows? Could be Auburn. They could be in that game. I know Shane Sean's an Alabama fan, but you never know. So Shane Song became the 5th person to win my tickets to the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. And no blood with you, because you and I and a guest picker, Olivia Whitmire, all went 3-3. So no blood there on that deal. Now that we have Olivia's 3-3 on the books, tomorrow when we do Beat the Big Dog, Greg Screws is going to join us to see. Now that's a lot of pressure. I mean, that's the Mendoza line, 3-3. That's 500. Doesn't get you paid, but it's 500. So now Greg Screws, does he go 2-4? Does he go 4-2? So he'll be our guest picker tomorrow. We're doing it tomorrow because Thursday I'm out. I've got my annual heart checkup on Thursday, which is an all-day affair, in which I haven't had done in almost my annual heart checkup that I haven't had done in 2 years.
Hope all is good.
Echocardiogram, stress test, and it's an all-day event. You got to do the stress in the morning and the echo, and then you go back and they give you the results. And I haven't want to go because, to be honest with you, I don't want to know. My heart is still pumping, and I don't want to know. It was on a transplant list 8 years ago. Don't want to know because things have been better, but I don't want to know. Anyway, coming up next, Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer is back on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch's season is over because of a neck injury. His career also in question. Owner Jerry Jones on 105.3 The Fan called it a significant loss. Vander Esch does have a history of neck issues coming into the league in 2018 with concerns. Jaguars receiver Zay Jones arrested on a misdemeanor domestic battery charge last night, scheduled to appear in court today. The team said it is aware of the situation and is gathering more information. Linebacker Jason Pierre-Paul signing with the Saints practice squad. He hasn't played since a 14-game tenure with the Ravens last season. Pierre-Paul joins a New Orleans team ranked 26th in the NFL with 18 sacks. NBA, the Lakers listing LeBron James questionable against the Grizzlies tonight with a calf contusion. Trailblazer center Robert Williams III underwent right knee surgery. He's expected to fully recover in time for next season.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What's better than 2 end-zone sports bars?
3 end-zone sports bars.
And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone. End Zone Sports Bar. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One, inviting you to join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner every Monday this season. It's Westwood One's 45th year of bringing you primetime NFL games, and the schedule is packed with great matchups. Plus, you'll hear Rich Eisen from the studios with interviews and the latest news around the NFL. Don't miss any of the action every week on Monday Night Football.
There's the phone,
and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho. Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, the service department of Woody Anderson Ford. They are not only experts in the service of Ford and other makes, they use genuine Ford and Motorcraft parts on every Ford service shop. From tire rotations, wheel alignments, brake jobs, oil changes, engine tune-ups, tranny work, the service department and the Quick Lane Tire and Auto Center have got you covered for your Ford and other makes as well. Don't forget about the certified gold pre-owned vehicles as well, plus the new inventory that is growing by the day. They're at the corner of Sparkman and Jordan Lane. It's Woody Anderson Ford. Check out WoodyAndersonFord.com as well. Woody Anderson Ford's the only place I have gone in the Tennessee Valley since 2004. They have been my place. And I'll never forget in 2007 when Bobby White said to me, he says, you got to check out this thing called, we're calling it the Edge. You got to check, and I loved that car. I mean, I had that car. It was the first time they came out with the Edge, and I had that car for quite a while. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. A guy does a tremendous job. He won't change your oil, but he'll tell you everything you need to know about the Auburn Tigers, basketball and football. It's Justin Ferguson. Ferg, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well, Tom. How are you?
I am fantastic. And dare I say, that was the most complete and best overall game of the season for Auburn there, peaking at just the right time. I mean, we said, could go into the Iron Bowl on 4 straight wins, and barring, some ridiculous happenstance coming up against New Mexico State, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think not only was it the most complete game of the season for Auburn, I think it's the most complete game we've seen Auburn play in several seasons against an SEC opponent.
Right.
And I know Arkansas is struggling, but you got to keep in mind, Arkansas, a week earlier you went down to the Swamp and won a game they needed to win.
Yeah.
And Auburn really turned the back clock on them. Defensively, just dominant up front. Didn't let KJ Jefferson do much of anything in this game. And then the secondary kind of locked everything down. Great game from them. And then offensively, Auburn just punched Arkansas in the mouth early and didn't let up. You had Peyton Thorne run over a guy for a touchdown. Keontae Scott with Auburn's first punt return for a touchdown in, since 2014. He had another quick touchdown. It's 21-0 halfway through the first quarter, and that crowd was dead. There was no shot that Arkansas was getting back in that game, and that's exactly what they needed to do. They did everything they needed to do in this game to come out with a win, and real dominant performance at a great time, because now you get a game against New Mexico State coming up, who New Mexico State's not a complete pushover. They've got a tricky offense for sure, and I think that's going to keep Auburn a little bit more locked in than maybe a usual game right before the Iron Bowl. But yeah, real good chance to be 7-4 heading into the Iron Bowl in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Anything can happen in a game like that. So it was perfect. It was exactly what Auburn needed to do, and the momentum continues to build for this program after what was a pretty tough month in the middle of the season.
I thought that Arkansas was going to give them a hell of a game. I had predicted coming off of the effort at with the new offensive coordinator in Gainesville. I thought, here they come. I mean, now all of a sudden this Arkansas team is going to be what we thought they were. And before I could get the words out of my mouth, Auburn was blowing them out, and that's what was, I think, so impressive about it. And the way they did it on the ground, not only though doing it on the ground and then turning around and being able to make some really nice pass plays. That we remember, this was a team that couldn't gain 100 yards passing against an SEC opponent going back into last season, and yet all of a sudden they look like a full and complete team.
Yeah, they did. And in this game, they ran the ball 72% of the time because they didn't really have to do anything else. They destroyed Arkansas at the line of scrimmage, and this is an Arkansas defense that had been pretty solid, against the run this season, and it really didn't matter in that game at all because Auburn was able to just kind of do whatever it wanted, at the line of scrimmage. Everybody who touched the ball for Auburn had a good, efficient, explosive day on the ground, and that was huge. But yeah, you got to throw the ball. They were aggressive. I wrote about this yesterday at the Observer. Auburn, over the last 3 games, they are more than twice. They've more than doubled, I should say, their yards per attempt on first downs through the air. They are more aggressive on first down. Peyton Thorne's playing with a lot of confidence. Receivers still having some issues, but they're trying to find different ways to get different dudes the ball in their hands. You combine that with Jarquez Hunter playing his best ball of the season, a deep running back room, an offensive line that's hitting its stride. That's how you win a game. And this offense, again, it is Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas, 3 of the worst teams in the SEC, but you only can play the teams that are in front of you, and right now Auburn is finally looking more like the offense that we thought, Hugh Freeze and Phil Montgomery were going to have this year.
Well, they're also, nobody was even talking about bowl eligibility. It was like, that whole question of, making a bowl game. They just kind of, it just feels like, well, yeah, they blew right past that. They're certainly bowl eligible. It feels, at worst, it's a 7-5 season, which is the best regular season since 2019, right? When they were 9-3 in the regular season in 2019. So this will be the best regular season since then, regardless of what happens. And oh, by the way, when Iron Bowl time comes, Nick Saban in Alabama, 4-4, I think, is the record at Auburn in the Iron Bowl. And I know it's cliche to say we've seen Alabama lose that game as an 11 or 12-point favorite in the past. We've seen those games be very, very tight as well. We saw Bryce Young have to pull one out of his rectum to win one, a couple of years ago. So it's not like you just throw it away and say, well, yeah, they're going to get whacked. You can't really even say that in the Iron Bowl.
Absolutely, and this is an Auburn defense that is playing really well. That's huge. If Auburn has a pulse at home in the Iron Bowl at the end of the year in Jordan-Hare, that's exactly what those are usually close competitive games, and sometimes Auburn wins them. 2013, 2017, 2019. Sometimes Auburn falls short in them. 2021, obviously. 2009 is the one I keep going back to because, that's a very similar first-year head coach trying to get some momentum at the end of the year, play a really good competitive game with a team that had a chance to, and in Alabama's case did, win a championship. They're in a great spot, and I think the defense is a big key there. I know Alabama is really hitting its stride on offense here recently. I know their defense has been great all year long. But Auburn's defense is playing some fantastic football. They are getting off the field. They are one of the best defenses in the SEC in third downs, red zones, forcing turnovers. All 3 of those things are things you need to beat Alabama. It would be one thing if, it was like, okay, this is a good defense, but, they have some issues getting off the field. This is a defense that isn't great from a per-play standpoint, but they get off the field really, really well, and that's going to be key in 2 weeks against a team like Alabama.
Yeah, and from Alabama's standpoint, they better quiet them down early because if they get any kind of life at all, 3-0 life at all, that place would be absolutely bonkers because it hasn't had a chance to be bonkers in 3 years or so, 4 years, since they've been able to go bonkers. They start believing, and then plus the caveat, Alabama knows they're going to the SEC championship game one way or the other. But the caveat for Auburn to be able to knock them out of the national championship picture, regardless of what happens in the SEC, because a 12-2 SEC or a 11-2 SEC champion is not going to the playoff, not this year. So it's just a huge caveat at that point in time, which is going to get that crowd that much more in full throat. And if you get them going, that can carry a team. That can help carry a team.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the environments at Auburn this year, even in the losing streak. Like, you look at those Georgia and those Ole Miss games, those are still really, really good atmospheres and crowds and just a loud place to play. It's going to be even more so when you're coming off potentially a 4-game winning streak heading into the Iron Bowl. And you get to play the ultimate spoiler. And that's where, I've always said this is where Auburn at its core kind of at its best as a football program is when they get to ruin people's day, especially if it's Alabama. They would love nothing more to be peak Auburn here and knock Alabama off and have, send Hugh Freeze, into his first full off season at Auburn with momentum and an Iron Bowl win and recruiting and all that would be huge. So they're gonna pull out all the stops, but they're gonna take care of business this week against New Mexico State. They're gonna, they're several touchdown favorite, but New Mexico State's not a team that's gonna come in there and think you're gonna beat them by 50. So I do think that's gonna help this defense, especially, stay a little bit more locked in heading into the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, you mentioned they only threw the ball 20 times in this game because they didn't have to. They took control of it so early. But even in that, I mean, Peyton Thorne with 12 of 20, threw a pick, threw a touchdown, threw 3 touchdown passes in a game, 163 yards. They look like real numbers. I mean, and that's what we were stunned at how anemic it looked. But you wonder now a little bit too about the play calling. You wonder whether or not Hugh Freeze has inserted himself anymore in the offensive game plan or in the offensive play calling itself, or whether it just this was the natural progression, that it was going to take some pain at first before it would start coming together.
I think it's a combination of both. I definitely think if you listen to Hugh Freeze and kind of see where it's gone the last few weeks, he has gotten more involved with the offense. He's even said as much. But, yeah, I do think it's a combination of Peyton Thorne finding confidence. I think it's just, not playing a murderer's row anymore. Like, they've had some games where they've got to kind of lean back a little bit and actually have some opportunities. State and Vanderbilt were 2 teams that were not very good in the back end on defense. And
right.
Peyton Thorne really played really well against them. And so in this game, he got to kind of keep that momentum up. He's just playing with confidence. This is a group that's playing with confidence and pace. They're running more like what Hugh Freeze came in to do. He said it on Saturday. Hey, I wish we'd have done this a little bit earlier in the year. I wish I would have put my foot down a little earlier this year. But I do think there is real value in learning those lessons and kind of growing. And I think the long-term trajectory of Auburn football, if they go 7-5 and 8, 7-5 and 8-4 this year, the difference between that, not that big of a deal. But I do think the lessons they learned and kind of the overcoming adversity could be a really, really big thing for this program long term, because they got into a really bad spot there in the middle of the year and they couldn't do anything right on offense and lost a bunch of games in a row, but they figured it out, and I think that could have some really good long term impact on this team.
Well, if it's 7-5, even if it's 7-5, and Alabama's going to be a healthy favorite in that game, but even if it's 7-5 and then becomes 8-5, I mean 8-5. You can recruit to 8-5. I mean, you could recruit to something, you know what I mean, coming off of, a bad year. And then the other thing is that Peyton Thorne, Robbie Ashford's role has been reduced more and more because Peyton Thorne turned out to be a better runner than anybody really knew or thought, I think, right? I mean,
yes.
It was like, we got to have red zone. Remember, the first couple of weeks, red zone Robbie. Well, you don't really need red zone Robbie. You got red zone Peyton, and Robbie Ashford's involvement has been really reduced, so much so to the point where you wonder what the future holds, for both of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Peyton Thorne does have another year of eligibility remaining, and I think Auburn, if they finish well with Peyton Thorne and he continues to play pretty good football, I think they would love to run it back next year with Peyton Thorne as their starting quarterback. We have 5th-year starting quarterback in college football. It'd be just such a weapon for them to have. You recruit more talent, to this offensive line, and you should expect Auburn to be much better at wide receiver next year with some of the guys they're bringing in. Hit the transfer portal, give them a better supporting cast, and in a full off season of work. Remember, he wasn't here in the spring.
Right.
He had to pick all this up in the summer and in the fall. I could see where that could be really, really beneficial for Auburn. And then you bring in a guy like Walker White, the 4-star quarterback they're bringing in for this 2024 class. Get him to kind of train under him, see what you get in Holden Garner as well. And then, 2025, you can kind of turn it loose and look from there. I could definitely see Auburn going in that direction. If they feel that they like what they're getting out of Peyton Thorne here down the stretch of the season, they should be. As for Ashford, for Robbie Ashford, I want to be clear because I don't want to down the guy too much. I think Robbie Ashford can be a starting quarterback somewhere. I think he's a very talented player. I don't think he can be the starting quarterback for the offense Auburn wants to run under Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery. I just don't think he is established enough as a passer to do that. So we'll see what Robbie looks like. I don't know what his graduation situation is, what his transfer situation could be. But yeah, he's basically your third string quarterback now. I do know he played, some against Arkansas, and he had that interception. Then we saw Holden Garner, but really last week, Holden Garner was the second string quarterback in practice. And if anything happened injury wise these last couple of games to Peyton Thorne, I think it would go to Holden Garner because he would just run more of this type of offense that Auburn's running right now, better. So, I think it could be interesting to see what the future holds for this quarterback room, because it can go in a lot of different directions. But yeah, bringing your guy back, potentially having some transfers elsewhere, I think is probably the likelihood of the situation.
It's an interesting concept. I've seen this before with other teams that, Garner may be the number 2, but if Peyton Thorne had to miss a game or two, you would think, maybe they would go with Robbie Ashford because of the experience, and then Garner would still be the number 2, but he would be the number 2 to Ashford. But it is an interesting concept, and yeah, it feels like Robbie Ashford's going to have to go someplace to find a place to play, because for no other reason. You mentioned all those things about Auburn wanting to run it back. If I'm Peyton Thorne, and I had the second half of the season the way I had the second half of the season, I need to come back and get myself draftable. I mean, that's the thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, that kid comes back and picks up where he left off and then has a good year the rest of the way, and then you sit there and you think, well, wait a minute. Now all of a sudden he becomes a draftable commodity, which he probably is not at this particular moment in time, but he can make a lot of value for himself if he came back.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, he is not a guy that doesn't seem like an NFL draft pick right now. I think for a lot of the season, people are like, is Auburn going to go into the portal again this offseason at quarterback? We'll see. But no, I do think if he finishes the season well and keeps playing the kind of ball he's been playing, I think Auburn would love to run it back with him next year, and Peyton Thorne would probably love to run it back and get to have a full off season with this program and the system. And then next year, could potentially bring back a ton of your supporting cast and add on to it with, guys like Perry Thompson, or, if they could flip Cam Coleman from Texas A&M, which is going to be the big push now that Jimbo got fired, variety of guys. Auburn thinks they're going to be a better team next season offensively, and they're loading up in recruiting and in the portal to try to do that. Might as well do it with a guy that you feel like you can showcase his full skill set and vice versa.
All right, finally, before I let you go, Justin Ferguson with us here talking some Auburn. I went to sleep with Auburn leading against Oregon. I thought, that's going to be a nice win, and it's like it was late, and I checked out, and then they lost that game. Now they go to the Legends Classic in Brooklyn, back near the old Bruce Pearl's stomping grounds. They'll play Notre Dame, maybe play the Bonnies of St. Bonaventure. We'll see what happens between that game and between the Bonnies and Oklahoma State. But just talk about the way this team has looked, right off the jump.
Yeah, no, fantastic offensive performance in that game against Baylor. You look at a team, you score
Baylor, not Oregon. I'm sorry, Baylor was on Oregon's floor. Yeah, Baylor.
Yeah. Similar colors, I can get it. Yeah. 80-plus points against Baylor in the way Auburn. I mean, they led for 2/3 of that game, and it was disappointing for Auburn to not win that game down the stretch. I think they showed some of their youth in the backcourt, and they just had a hard time defending Baylor without fouling in the second half. Huge foul discrepancy. Free throws were big in that game, and then they turn around and they play Southeastern Louisiana, and they didn't play great on defense in the second half. They still scored 86 in that game. Auburn did not score 80-plus points in back-to-back games at all last season. Now they've done it in the first two. They're shooting the ball a lot better. Three-point shooting has gone way up. Aiden Holloway was SEC Freshman of the Week. It's a deep, deep team. 10-man rotation. They feel like they can play pretty much anybody out there and have a good lineup. So this offense has really improved from where they were last season. This looks like a different team on that end of the floor. If they can tighten up their defense, they should be in a really good spot. And these games in Brooklyn should be big. Auburn should be favored in whoever they play. Notre Dame's that opener. Notre Dame's one of the youngest teams in the country, coming off that loss to Western Carolina earlier this week. If Auburn plays a clean game, should be able to take care of business. And then it's either the Bonnies or Oklahoma State, which would probably be a little tougher matchup, but still one where you look at Auburn favored. So these could be two good quality wins for your tournament resume coming up. I really like where Auburn's going on offense. They just tightened up some things on defense. They can get on a roll here, because I don't think they're going to play a team as good as Baylor. As good as Baylor away from home until maybe they play Tennessee at the end of February. They've got a good opportunity to get on a run here.
Yeah, or Oregon. You never know. I had Oregon. I got Dan Lanning on my mind because we just did a segment with a guy from Texas A&M talking about who's going to be the next coach at Texas A&M, and Dan Lanning said, no, I'm good. I'm good right here. I would
Yeah,
think.
smart call by him. He's got, he's going to have back-to-back top 10 classes. He's going into the Big Ten where all that money is. Maybe you take out the Alabama job if Saban retires. Maybe you do that, but there's no reason in the world to leave what you got going at Oregon right now.
I didn't have the heart to tell Mark Passwaters from AggieYell.com directly that I got news for you. The Oregon job's a better job than Texas A&M. It really is. I mean,
better,
especially with Texas playing so well now, and they're whenever Texas is any good, they're going to dominate the state. You really want to go? Why would you go from Oregon to Texas A&M? And you're going into the Big Ten. You know what I mean? It doesn't. It's not a better job. You're right. Now, if the Alabama thing comes open at some particular point in time, Passwaters said, and God bless him. I mean, he's working for Aggie Yell. I asked him how good a job it was. He said that next to the Alabama job, it was as good a job as any job in the country. And I'm like,
no.
I don't know if it's not. He says there's Alabama and then there's Texas A&M. Yeah, well, I think Michigan and Ohio State and Georgia and LSU. And, I think those are all really good jobs, too. But that's, even Texas. It's not even the best job in the state,
No.
But that's a whole other story. All right, man. Well, as always, I appreciate you. Justin Ferguson has been our guest. The Auburn Observer has everything you need to know. Auburn rolling into basketball season now, and, of course, an exciting time leading into the Iron Bowl. Basically a 2-week run-up to the Iron Bowl. We hate to say that because both teams have games to play, but it kind of feels like it's a 2-week run-up. And being able to cover Auburn through bowl season, that's just a plus, man, for the Auburn Observer. You know what I mean? That's just a plus to get another 4 weeks of coverage for Auburn football, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be covering all recruiting, really catching fire right now for Auburn. Could be a big signing day here coming up in a few weeks for Auburn. So, auburnobserver.com. Check it out. I'm all over the country. I'm getting on a plane to Brooklyn tomorrow.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that, and then coming back next week for the Iron Bowl. So can't beat it. auburnobserver.com. Sign up there.
Wait, you're gonna miss the North Dakota or New Mexico State, whatever they are, New Mexico State game?
Yeah,
you're gonna miss that game?
That's gonna be me. I'm gonna probably watch that one on TV. I couldn't get a flight back from Brooklyn quick enough.
You got somebody to
we'll
cover
miss
that.
one.
You got somebody to cover that for you for the Observer.
I'm gonna have some eyes. I'm gonna have some eyes in the press box while I'll be watching on TV.
Beautiful. All right, man. Appreciate you as always. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Grizz, we always talk about with ESPN, whatever it is that they have becomes a thing. Whatever their properties are.
Oh,
That's
definitely.
why they talk about the WNBA and everything else.
Yeah.
They right now are doing a segment with Paul Rabel on the PLL and in studio with Rabel and doing a preview. The PLL. You don't even know what the PLL is, do you? You're
the
like,
Lacrosse League?
Yeah, the Premier Lacrosse League.
Yeah.
Which isn't even the Premier League of that, but the Premier reveals locations and logos for the teams. The New York Atlas. They have teams that have names. Like every year, they have like different teams in the Premier Lacrosse League. There's the National Lacrosse League as well. Now, I am a lacrosse junkie because I covered it and I even coached it some in high school. And I love lacrosse. I think lacrosse is great. It's not a big thing down here.
No, I didn't know about it until I moved to Georgia. And then when I graduated Grissom, they got a team 2 or 3 years after that.
Yeah.
They didn't have a team.
I'm from
it was a
in
club.
upstate New York, Syracuse is a wonderful, wonderful lacrosse program. Syracuse, North Carolina, Johns Hopkins, places like that. But Syracuse is one of the hotbeds. And they always had the Gate brothers, the Powell brothers, those kind of guys. And I got to cover those guys in college. And then I also covered them in an indoor lacrosse league and in the NLL. I think I told you this before. Damon Amendolara and I, the first season of the National Lacrosse League, which was 25 years ago, Damon and I traveled with the league. The league's games were on national radio. Damon had done play-by-play for Syracuse as a student when he was in his fifth year at Syracuse, when he was at the Newhouse School of Broadcasting. I did the color commentary, and DA and I, we traveled to Buffalo, Rochester, Baltimore, and Boston to do games. It was like a traveling band, and then the next year the league became a league, and away it went. So, but I'm a big lacrosse fan. But ESPN right now is spending a solid 15-minute segment on the Premier Lacrosse League. You know why? Because they got the games. That's why. So it becomes a thing.
So it's a thing. So you have to talk about it. You have to have coverage on it. You have to have promotion. I mean, it is.
They didn't even know that they didn't even let you know that the USFL existed. I mean, not even on the bottom line.
No, it was never.
You'd see XFL scores, and it would be nothing about the USFL.
Yes.
And now what we're finding out about that merger is really it's a merger, but the USFL has really absorbed the XFL. There's going to be.
So now they have to put the USFL on there.
There's going to be more USFL. There'll be more USFL teams than XFL. No, I think it's going to be the US. It's going to be hard to say. It's going to be it might be the US Spring League, the USSL, or something like that, or Spring Football League. It's going to be the USF. No, that would be United
USFL.
Spring Football League.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell it's going to be. It's going to be called something different. I don't know what it's going to be.
Spring League football.
But, there you go. All right, we're going to break in here. When we come back, Jim Harbaugh had something really interesting to say about his team, and my friend Chris Russo responded to it, and you need to hear this. I'll have it for you next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Want even more excitement on game day? It's time to get on Prize Picks, the best way to win big on fantasy sports. Here's how it works. Just pick 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their stats. If you get them right, you could win up to 25 times your cash. It's quick and easy to make your picks, and with fast and safe deposits and withdrawals, Prize Picks is the place to play this season. Prize Picks has awesome weekly promotions, and they're the only daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, keeping you in the game even if one of your players goes down. Sweat it out. Watch your entry update in real time and continue the fun by making picks on second half and fourth quarter stats. Take your game day experience to the next level with Prize Picks. And right now, you go to prizepicks.com/primetime and use code primetime. Prize Picks is matching your first deposit up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/primetime with code primetime for a 100% deposit match. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for more details.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If your home needs updating or you have some projects that you just haven't gotten to, Eagle can help. They install shower doors, mirrors, shelving, blinds, bath hardware, and lots more. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Cheeseburger Bobby's has a great new way to feed the family with two $30 family packs. The first is the Tenders Family Meal, 20 delicious chicken tenders, fries, and a gallon of tea. The second is 4 cheeseburgers, fries, and a gallon of tea. Your choice, just $30 each. These specials are good for carryout and online orders only. Log on to cheeseburgerbobbies.com to order. And don't forget frozen custard for dessert. Cheeseburger Bobbies, 2785 Carl T. Jones Drive, Huntsville, and at cheeseburgerbobbies.com.
Injuries at work happen all the time in Alabama. So do motor vehicle and slip and fall accidents. If you're hurt at work or injured in an accident, I want you to call my good friends at Pond Lehocky Giordano. That's Pond Lehocky, Alabama's injury law firm. They got your back just like they've got mine. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. We're probably going to see a couple of isolated showers across the Tennessee Valley. The best chance for that's going to end up coming Tuesday night, early into Wednesday morning, and then we get other opportunities for rain through Wednesday afternoon. We are going to be a little cooler on Wednesday under a cloudy sky. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
New coordinators.
That's as good as money, sir.
New quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
Same coach.
All right, and you all may be taking the week off, all right, this week, but I'm not.
We are your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. Use the orthopedic specialists that pretty much every high school in the region uses. That's TOC Sports. Also, Alabama A&M, the Huntsville Havoc rely on TOC as well. But regardless of whether it's a sports injury or a work accident, maybe just breaking down a little bit, TOC has the right specialists for you. North Alabama's largest sports medicine provider is TOC Sports. Stay in the game with TOC Sports. Speaking of TOC, Grizz, this is kind of a pretty cool deal. This is breaking news, if you will. This is something new that we have just unloading here for you. We were just talking Auburn basketball. Of course, Auburn is going to be playing UNC Asheville here December 13th, I believe it is, right? December 13th when they play UNC Asheville here. We have got 4 VIP tickets and a parking pass. 13th, right? December 13th. Did I say 4 VIP tickets and a parking pass, courtesy of TOC Sports, for you to win. That's right. That's right. Yes, stay tuned for the promotion.
That is nice.
We are going to have a nice promotion for this. It's going to kick in. The promotion will kick in after Thanksgiving, and we'll have 4 VIP seats and a parking pass for you to get you hooked up at the Auburn. You'll be able to see Auburn's basketball team up close and personal.
And it's nice in that venue for sure. I saw Alabama versus Mercer. It's every place in that arena is nice. It's a nice place to watch a game for sure.
Speaking of Alabama Mercer, we have that coming up on Friday night. Alabama and Mercer. I think that's in Tuscaloosa. Is where I think they're playing that game in Tuscaloosa. All right, we'll get to the phone lines here in a moment, but I've got to share this with you. Jim Harbaugh, and sometimes it's weird. You don't know whether or not he's really thinking about, like, did he think he was going to say this going in, or does he just automatically say it, or what? But Jim Harbaugh had this to say yesterday about his team's win at Penn State.
The perseverance, and then the stalwartness of these guys. I mean, Watson, I would have to say, everybody. It's got to be America's team.
Got to be.
It's got to be America's team.
America's team.
America loves a team that beats the odds, beats the adversity, overcomes with the naysayers and critics, so-called experts think that's my favorite kind of team. And, yeah, watching it from that view on the television, it was finally people get to see what I see every day, in these players and these coaches.
Do you think he watched it in the hotel bar? Was he just in the hotel, or did he watch it in the hotel bar? So he says that Michigan is America's team because America loves this kind of a team, overcoming the odds. I mean, you would think that they had a plane crash or something and half the team perished. Or you would think that, that they lost their starting quarterback and their starting running back to vicious injury, and the team overcome something, right? I don't know what you would think. You would think, though, that these things led to them being America's team. Well, my friend Chris Russo, the Mad Dog himself, you see him now on TV on Wednesdays.
Mad Dog Wednesdays.
Yeah, Mad Dog Wednesdays there, on First Take.
What's he mad about?
With Stephen A. But he does a show every day. And, well, he gets very passionate and had this to say.
Flakegate, and you guys out there in Radioland buried the Astros. Buried them. And somehow Michigan got a raw deal? Nonsense! Michigan went out there and freaking had everybody at these games. The stupid guy with the mustache in a Central Michigan game. And I'm supposed to feel bad for Michigan that they got wrong? What are you, crazy? Again, Michigan thinks they're above it all. Michigan thinks they're bigger than you. Michigan thinks it's a decent academic school and everything else. Let's never forget that Michigan won a chip, got to the Final Four with that Fab Five. How'd that work out? All the money they paid those guys to go to play at Michigan. Cheated their ass off to get those guys there. And I like Fisher, but you got to be fair.
Fair.
My God. And this whole thing that Harbaugh is somehow wronged, that is the biggest bunch of nonsense I've ever heard in my life. And now Harbaugh is going to do us a favor, and he's going to talk on Friday. We have asked Harbaugh to talk about this for 3 months. He has said absolutely nothing. He's hid from the media. Hey, Jim, why is this Michigan-Stanford the Central Michigan game? Why did you guys buy tickets for every Big Ten road game so you can have your guys look at the opposite sideline and see the score and see the press boxes to decode signs? And he never said a word. You couldn't ask him any questions. But now that his rear end's on the line, he's going to talk in front of a restraining judge who's a Michigan grad.
I didn't know that.
And how in the world is Michigan going to sit there and say they're hurt beyond, that they're hurt, whatever they used, that this is irreparable damage to the Michigan brand? How is that possible after you saw the game on Saturday afternoon against awful Penn State? That it's irreparable damage? They won the game by 2 scores. Irreparable damage, my ass. He's a football coach. He's not Gandhi. My God almighty. Michigan, you know what Michigan can do? Loudly. Go to hell. 11 after the hour.
That's perfect.
I was going to go on a rant, and I'm like, I can't go on a rant. I got to play this rant. This rant is so much better.
This is everybody. This is everybody.
He rolls into Steve Fisher. Hey, shit, how about the Fab Four, Fab Five, Fab? How about those?
Paying those guys to get there.
How about they pay those guys to get there? I don't know. Can you pay those guys to get there? And he's well, it's America's team.
It's got to be America's team. It's got to be America's team.
Got to be America's team. They just think of that. He just come up with this.
It's got to be America's team.
Got to be.
It's got to be America's team.
Got to be.
He repeated himself too. That is not a clip. That is not a.
It came to him.
That's not a loop.
It came to him. He was thinking about what am I going to say.
It's got to be America's team.
Got to be.
It's got to be
And
America's
then came
team.
up with this elaborate America. We love America. We love the story where we come up from.
Loves a team like this. Yeah, it's a trophy game. Playing for a trophy. Yeah.
That stereotypical story of America.
I
have my Michigan cut from now until I retire.
It's got to be America's team. It's got to be America's team.
Got to be America's team. Gotta be.
I thought about it myself. I came up with that.
I think that they're the most hated team in college football right now. I mean, would you agree or disagree?
I definitely hate them more than Alabama right now.
I think they hate them more than Alabama. I think that outside of Alabama or outside of Michigan, everybody hates them. Somehow they made Ryan Day in the Ohio State Buckeyes favorites. It makes no sense.
Ryan Day's over here attacking old people too, and
I know. Ryan Day, who went after Lou Holtz for God's sakes, but he's not coaching America's team. What can I tell you? All right, let me get LSU Lynch in here. LSU Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
Look here. Let me tell you something. Listen, callers. You've already made Wolverine Dan, North Alabama's call-in of the legend.
Yeah.
That is, okay? Why are we still talking about Michigan?
Well, it's the biggest story in sports right now. And here's the thing that's sad, Lynch. Here's the saddest part about this whole thing. Dan is still in Europe. Oh, God, I wish Wolverine Dan was here. I mean, Dan is still in Europe. All of this has happened.
He's not getting any of it.
While Dan is, he knows. I'm sure he knows.
Yeah.
All of this has happened while Wolverine Dan has been in Europe. The suspension, America's team, everything that's been going on has happened. The judge that's going to hear this on Friday is a Michigan grad? Really? Oh, my gosh.
Look here, they already got a hat like Trump, make Michigan great again. Really? You suck. They suck. Look here, number two, thank you for taking my phone call. Look here, you're going to do great on your stress test because if you can put up with callers like us all the time, because I'm going to tell you what, listen to me, Philip. You Troy Aikman, LGBTQ, whatever you are, okay? Son, you had a passionate phone call today up until then. And I'd like to hear that. And look here, I don't hear, where's Grumpy at?
Listening.
Where's the Grumpy at?
He was the last caller yesterday. He was the last caller. So my guess is that Grumpy will probably be, if he's going to get in, he'll get in before the end of the show.
I got you. Son, it's always great to hear from y'all. We had the biggest Veterans Day parade and everything.
I saw the pictures. That was fantastic. Yeah, thanks for sending me the pictures.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a great day and everything. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to end with this because I know your time is short. Since my schedule has changed, Tom, I'm having to listen to Boss Hogg in the morning.
Yeah.
And apparently he wants to compare to LSU fans, which I'm not in that jail cell with that hit, okay? And he's about to get a phone call in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that LSU fan. Y'all know that. That was a clean hit. Brian Kelly. Son, if we lose to Texas A&M next week, son, I'm going to drive to the Baton Rouge and throat punch your ass. I see it.
LSU Lynch. That's a reasonable guy, right? It was a clean hit. I mean, it was roughing the passer. It was what it was.
Yeah.
It was roughing the passer. You drove him into the ground. But everything else about it was textbook.
I thought it was
slightly high. But you know what? Jaden Daniels had thrown, and he started, nobody ever talks about this part of it. I think he's going to hit him straight in the chest. Jaden Daniels starts to collapse a little bit, like he's going down.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, you see his knees are he's going down.
Right.
And Dallas Turner ends up hitting him face to face. And there's no doubt it was high, face to face, but it was face to face.
Yeah.
It's forehead to face.
Head up.
It's not crown.
Head up and through.
It's head up.
Ran his feet.
He saw what he hit, and if you look at the picture at contact, his feet are still on the ground. He's running right through the guy.
Yeah.
He destroyed him.
And that's the thing. In the Auburn-Arkansas game, there was a horrific hit on the sideline, and it was like, it reminded me of how just like less than 10 years ago, it was like there was always a promo that ESPN and college football, I think Game Day would always run, where it was the UCLA USC game.
Yeah.
And the guy was going to the sideline, and he just gets clobbered on the sideline, and it was one of the greatest hits ever, and everyone just thought it was one of the coolest things ever. And it's like this big promo to promote college football. Now we're at a point where it's just like we see these monster hits, and we hate them.
The NFL uses them still to promote the NFL, and they're legal hits. They're like the NFL's like, oh, no, you can't do that. But, hey, we'll use it to sell stuff. All right, we get a break. When we come back, we still have a Tuesday top two. I made the list so short so that I could get it in. I want to get it in. We have a Tuesday top two. And this story coming out of England with the hockey player that got his neck slashed is taking on a weird twist, man. A weird twist. We'll try and get that all in the last 10 minutes of the show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at ChapmanCommercialRealty.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's Game Development Team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industry, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go Higher and go Army.
Built to win.
Touchdown, Alabama!
Built for championships.
Throws intercepted, Alabama.
Built by Bama.
Alabama is still Alabama.
The Crimson Tide play here. Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide take on the Chattanooga Mocs. Our coverage begins at 8 a.m. on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Touchdown, Alabama! Hi, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Join us every week for Alabama football right here.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Abraham Show. All right, Grizz, let me get this Tuesday top 2 in there. You got my music? Give me a little Tuesday top 2 music. Well, hit me with that there.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Tuesday Top 10.
Brought to you today by Alumni Hall for all your Alabama and Auburn gear. That's two teams, Alabama and Auburn. Go to Bridge Street's Alumni Hall. Gifts, tailgating items, the coolest clothing. It's all at Alumni Hall. Right next to the Kona Grill across from the Connor Steakhouse. Look the park, go to Alumni Hall. No matter where you watch the Iron Bowl, whether you're watching it at home by yourself, whether you're watching it with some friends, whether you're watching it in a bar somewhere, you need to be repping Alabama or Auburn for the Iron Bowl. You need to have your gear on, all right? I'll have mine on. You need to have your gear on. All right, Grizz, I promised Atlanta Braves baseball Tuesday top 2.
Talking baseball right now?
I'm going to drop you a baseball one because this is something that could happen here very, very shortly.
Ohtani?
No. According to Ken Rosenthal, of course, no player on the Braves roster is set to make over $22 million in 2024. So they got some money.
Yeah.
And they are willing to go higher than that for a free agent starting pitcher. And they're looking at 2 that they're actively in on. Would you like to name the 2 that they are actively in on right now?
I have seen one, but
one is a nemesis.
I'm not looking forward, but I have seen one, yes.
One is a nemesis.
Yeah.
This would be addition by subtraction.
Aaron Nola.
Yeah. You know he's only 30 years old? I thought he was older than that. He's Aaron Nola.
A 30-year-old vet like that? Yeah.
He's only 30 years old, and he's boys with Rick Kranitz, your pitching coach. You know, the Braves pitching coach, Rick Kranitz. Rick Kranitz used to be the pitching coach at the Phillies. And so Aaron Nola is boys with him. Plus, Nola wants to get back to the South. Remember, Aaron Nola pitched at LSU. Speaking of LSU, Lynch, see how everything ties back together?
It all revolves around Lynch.
He pitched in Baton
LSU
Rouge.
Lynch, yeah.
He pitched in Red Stick. Okay, so he used to pitch in Red Stick, where he went to college. And there's a thought that he wants to get back to the South. So he's one. And the other one, another Southern boy. You want a hint? This guy has been around for a minute and has been really good as of late. He was kind of like a middle-of-the-road guy, but now he has kind of come on strong. He's former Vanderbilt pitcher. Not Mike Minor, but a former Vanderbilt.
David Price.
Not David Price. He's from – David Price even pitch anymore? He's from he's from Murfreesboro. Tennessee.
In Smyrna, right? Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray
is
is
he played
another
Smyrna.
one.
He was from Smyrna.
Smyrna. Sonny Gray is from Smyrna. And he is a distinct – both of these guys are distinct possibilities for Atlanta.
I feel like I've heard his name every year. He's always a possibility of going to Atlanta. And it's just like, eventually, it's just do it. It's like Wainwright.
Yeah.
For years, I keep hearing Wainwright, and it never happened.
Max Fried made just 14 starts this past year and was on the injured list again at the end of the season with that blister before he pitched Game 2 on 2 days or on 17 days rest, Game 2 of the NLDS. And then, of course, Charlie Morton, he missed the NLDS, so they had to rely on Bryce Elder to pitch Game 3. And between Fried and Elder, they allowed 9 runs in 6 2/3 against the Phillies. Good night now, Braves, after 100 and some odd wins. So and keep in mind, Max Fried and Charlie Morton are both free agents after this year. They got one more year.
Yeah.
One more year, and then next year they'll be free agents. Now, Fried, you want to hang on to. Charlie Morton, I wouldn't re-sign him after next year. I mean, Charlie Morton's got to be 38 years old now. Isn't he? 37, 38?
I don't know.
My guess is he's pretty old dude.
His exact age.
I think he's a pretty old dude. The other story that I wanted to get into and just drop some news on you with it, this is crazy. You heard about the guy that had his neck slashed. Adam Johnson, the former NHL player, played for the Pittsburgh Penguins for a minute. He was playing in that South Yorkshire, England hockey league. And now a man has been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter in the death of Adam Johnson. I said it was just a freak accident, right? The arrest
Crazy, yeah.
comes more than 2 weeks since police began investigating the incident. Johnson was playing for the Nottingham Panthers of the Elite Ice Hockey League in England. His throat was cut by a skate blade. According to South Yorkshire Police, they said in a statement that a post-mortem examination confirmed that Johnson died from the fatal neck injury, and the man, whose identity was not released by the police, remains in custody. Investigation was launched immediately following a tragedy, and we have been carrying out extensive inquiries ever since to piece together the events which led to the loss of Adam with these unprecedented circumstances. Now they're saying that maybe it was intentional, that he was killed on the ice. Wow. All right, coming up next, it's the Paul Feinbaum Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White